We are still under fraction, and in our previous lesson I taught you operations on fractions, and under operation on fractions we have four main operations. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And I said that for addition and subtraction, we find the least common multiple. But for multiplication of fraction, you multiply the numerator of the first fraction by the numerator of the second fraction, and also you multiply the denominator of the first fraction by the denominator of the second fraction. After that, when there is the need to divide it or to reduce it to its lowest term, you reduce it. And for division, I said always you change the division sign to multiplication, and to change it to multiplication you find the reciprocal of the second fraction, thus you turn it upside down. So let's move on to Bodmas. And when I say Bodmas, it's the combination of these operations. But here we will introduce bracket and what? Off in addition to the what? Operation. So Bodmas. B is bracket. And this is how bracket is off. Off means multiplication, division. We know our division sign, multiplication. Addition. And subtraction. So one may ask, why we have multiplication and multiplication here. But always note that off means what? Multiplication. That's why we are having this and this. Whenever you see off, you change it to what? Multiplication. So I will use these four examples to illustrate Bodmas. I will use these four examples. So these are examples. So example 1, let's take the first example. 2 over 3 times 4 over 5 divided by 8 over 15. So we have Bodmas. What first? Division comes before what? Multiplication. So we first solve for this division. So you group this one. So it becomes 2 over 3 times 4 over 5 divided by 8 over 15. Because this division is in between these two fractions. And always in Bodmas we group it into two fractions. So it becomes 2 over 3 times, to change this one to multiplication, we find the reciprocal of the second fraction, and this becomes 15 over 8. 5 goes here 1, 5 goes here 3, 4 goes here 1, 4 goes here 2. So it becomes 2 over 3 times 3 over 2, because 3 times 1 is 3 and 2 times 1 is 2. So we have 2 by 3, we are having what? 6. Or you can cancel this by this, and this one 2 by this. So we are having 1. That's our answer. Let's move on to question 2. I'm done with question 1. Question 2. We have 1 over 2 of 2 over 8 plus 1 over 3 And for this question, we don't have brackets, but we are having off. So we solve for this off. So it becomes 1 over 2 times 2 over 8. Because if you don't change this off to multiplication sign, you cannot solve the question. Plus 1 over 3. And once we are solving this off, you see we are having bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and what? Subtraction. So this off, we solve for this one. Because I said we group it into what? 2 fractions. Because this one is in between this and this. So you group it. So this one will cancel what? This one. And 1 times 1 is what? 1 over 8 plus 1 over 3. And since we are having addition of fraction, we find what? LCM. Our LCM here is 24. 8 goes into 24, how many? 3. 3 times 1 is what? 3. Plus 3 goes into 24, what? 8. 8 times 1 is what? 8. So it becomes 11 over 24. This is our answer for the second question. Let's move on to question 3, the third question. We have 8 whole number 1 over 2 minus 2 whole number 1 over 3 times 1 over 2. And in Bodmas, they are saying bracket first. But this question we are having what? Brackets. So you start from your brackets. And they gave us 2 mixed fractions. This means you should change both fractions to improper fraction. So it becomes 2 times 8 is 16 plus 1, 17 over 2. Minus 3 by 2 is 6 plus 1, 7 over 3 times 1 over 2. So we solve for the brackets. And for subtraction of fraction, we find our LCM. And the LCM here is what? 6. So 2 goes into 6, how many? 3. 3 by 17 is 51. You can check. Minus 3 goes into 6, 2. 2 by 7 is what? 14. And 51 from 14, we are getting 37. You can take your calculators and verify. So 37 over 6. And once we are having an improper fraction, you change it to mixed fraction. So 6 goes into 37, we are having what? 6 whole number what? 1 over 6. This is our answer for the third question. So always, if you are given mixed fraction, you should change it to what? Improper fraction. And whenever you see off in the Bodmas, it is multiplication what? Sign. So take note. And once you can reduce your answer to its lowest, then you should what? Reduce it. And also, if you can change it to mixed fraction, you should what? Change it. Let's take the final example. The final example, and we close down the bracket under Bodmas. This is our final example. As you see this question to be complicated, I will make it simple for you to understand. And in Bodmas, they are saying bracket first. So you work out for these operations in the brackets. Let's take our multiplication first. So 1 over 2 times 2 over 3. And for multiplication, you multiply numerators and denominators. But you realize you can cancel this one. 1 times 1 is what? 1. Over 1 times 3, 3. So we are getting 1/3 here. Let's move on to this bracket 2. We have 5/12 divided by 3/4. So you find the reciprocal of the second fraction so that our division sign changes to what? Multiplication. It becomes 5/12 times 4/3. And for this one too, we can divide. 4 goes here 1, 4 goes here 3. We have 5/9. You see, I have worked for this bracket and also I have worked for this what? Bracket. So I'll substitute this one here in place of this, and this one too, I'll substitute it here. So it becomes 1/3 minus 5/9 over 1/6 plus 7/2. You see, instead of them to give you the question in this format, they rather give it to you in this way. So if you don't know that, you must work out the values in your bracket first and eliminate this one and substitute it. You cannot what? Solve it. Once we are having this, we will write the question as 1/3 minus 5/9 divided by, this is our division sign, 1/6 plus 7/2. We work out the brackets, each one, even though we are having subtraction and what? Addition. So let's work out this bracket, 1/3 minus 5/9. We find our LCM as 9. 3 goes into 9, how many? 3. 3 times 1, 3. Minus 9 goes into 9, 1. 1 times 5 is what? 5. Equal to. So 5 from 3, we are getting what? Negative what? 2/9. We have negative 2/9 here. Let's take this one. Now we finish working this one. Let's take this one. We have 1/6 plus 7/2. Our LCM is 6. So 6 goes into 6, how many? 1. 1 times 1, 1. Plus 2 goes into 6, 3. 3 times 7, 21. So we have 22/6. This will go here 3. This goes here 11. Because the common divisor is 2. And 2 goes into 6, 3. 2 goes here 11. We have 11/3. And once we know the answer for this, and also the answer for this, because this is this answer, and this one is for this, we eliminate it and substitute it. So it becomes negative 2/9 divided by 11/3. Once we have this, we change the second fraction. That's you find the reciprocal of the second fraction. So negative 2/9 times, because once we are finding the reciprocal of the second fraction, it changes to what? Multiplication. 3 goes here 1. 3 goes here what? 3. And 2 times 1, we are getting what? Negative 2/3 times 11. 33. Once we can reduce it to its lowest term, this is our final answer. And I believe now we have understood the topic called Bodmas. Our last session will be on fractions spent and fraction left in our next section. Thank you and have a nice day.